Hello and welcome back to another week of Open Mic Night. So glad you guys made it back. We are lucky enough tonight to have the guys from Red Button Jam Fest here with us. We are going to talk about the economy of gaming. Pretty much, can you guys make money on YouTube? Is that possible while streaming games or doing anything kind of game related? Well, I have some guys here that can help us talk about that. Let's have a fun show tonight. I think it'll be a really good time. Alrighty, so like I said, welcome back to Open Mic Night. So glad that you guys made it back. If this is your first time, my name is Mike Weger, and I'm your host. I run Weger Tech over here, and this is a podcast called Open Mic Night. We do it every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. Pacific. Come on out and join us live. It's a lot of fun. If you head on over to wegertech.com/live, you guys can hop in the chat room. You guys can call in and just join us. But this week, so usually I cover a lot of tech news, I do things like that, but every once in a while, we get to bring in some guests and do an interview and kind of just talk about kind of what my guests like. And so this week, I am lucky enough to have the guys from Red Button Jam Fest here. So we have Brian, James, and Nate. So hey guys, how's it going?
Go, wow.
Good, good. So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Maybe Brian, you start and then go to your left.
Sure.
That's right. I don't know on my screen.
The mirror image.
Yeah. I'm Brian. Hello, everybody.
I'm Nate. Hello.
And I'm James.
Perfect. So, okay, so Red Button Jam Fest is kind of your collective name. Tell me just a little bit, whichever one of you guys wants to go, just a little bit about what you guys do, which I know you guys are just starting out, but kind of what your focus is and kind of what you guys are doing right now.
Well, our focus, I would say, is initially it was about video games, as you highlighted earlier. That's kind of the glue that holds it together, but our focus, I would say, is kind of passion-driven. Like Brian, he's really big on history. Nate's really big on Disney. We have other friends that are big on philosophy, and we try to put all those different subject matters kind of under that umbrella of Red Button Jam Fest to try to make it as entertaining as possible, and maybe slightly educational. I would hope so, but
So entertainment, education, you guys kind of cover the whole gamut.
We try to. We're
Edutainment.
yeah.
And as you guys were saying in pre-show, I know that I kind of been asking you guys for a little bit now. You guys are on iTunes now. Which
Yay!
Very cool. So your podcast is there. Before you guys were just on YouTube, right?
We were on YouTube and had our personal MP3s being fed out through our server.
Okay.
But now it's all RSS feed, XML, got it up on onto iTunes, and looking to go expand it up, and everything seems to be working out just fine with that, and keep your fingers crossed. People are like looking up on there, and hopefully we'll find it out. So
yeah, no, for you guys who are going to go out and search on iTunes right now, I just did it before the show. I just did Red Button, which is 2 separate words, and then Jam Fest, and I found all 3 of their shows. You guys have 3, right? That's what I should have found.
3 shows right now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so 3 podcasts, 3 different podcasts with numerous episodes in the podcast.
Yeah,
Very cool. Okay, so what do you guys? Okay, we were talking before the show, and thinking back, maybe I just should have gone live with the pre-show because we've been talking about all this cool stuff. But you guys kind of dive into some different areas. You obviously have 3 different podcasts on some different topics. Tell me a little bit about each of them and kind of what it covers.
Okay, sure. Brian, I'd like to start off with you.
Okay.
I'll volunteer to you.
All right. Well, my podcast that I focus in on is Back to the Past, and it's a history-driven podcast. Covering various random topics, not in chronological order, something that has a lot of high interest, and something that has a little bit of a hook to kind of draw people in to kind of like the subject matter of history. And I keep it short enough, somewhere around the 8 to 15 minute mark, just so they can get a taste of the history and the topic, but not diving way too deep into it.
A little bit of bias, but I think it's awesome.
All right.
Total bias.
Yeah, and that's the one of them that I actually haven't checked out. So I'm going to have to give that, I'm awful at history, so hopefully it'll give me a little bit of help. That's really cool.
Cool.
It'd be awesome. You want to go next, Nate?
Yeah, mine's a video on YouTube. It's Nathan Chu's Disney Reviews. I review anything and everything Disney. So far it's mainly been about movies, but I'm going to be looking into the Disney Infinity set, reviewing that, and
we actually played that not that long before the test, we were actually doing the capture and playing around with it. So
Oh, really?
I was a newbie. I was a total noob with the controller. So pretty much you're gonna see that one half of the screen pretty much doing nothing. The other screen doing what he's doing. That's Nate's half.
Very cool. And then the other two podcasts.
Oh yeah. Just elaborate on those. Not to interrupt. I'm sorry if I did. The other two podcasts is we have the Morning After Review, which is based on movies. So basically, we go see a movie. We try our best not to talk about it until literally the morning after.
So give yourself a night to sleep on it, think about it, okay.
Let it set in. You get that first impulse, like that movie's so awesome, then you kind of let it set down. You're like, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't as awesome as Godfather, like I was saying after the fact. But that's one. And then the other podcast that we have is Random Guys Talk About, which a bunch of random guys here, but that's more open. That's usually us right now, but we're looking to have guests and stuff like that, where we pick a topic. The last few that we did was like beginnings, transitions. We also did wrestling, but we're going to do things such as like the Higgs boson. We'll pick them, the gamut of things that go from
Halloween. Yeah.
We have Halloween coming up.
See, and that's my personal favorite show because, I like the open style. I love that. Those are the type of podcasts I like listening to because, it's great. Obviously, people who listen to me, I focus on tech and anything tech-related, but those open ones are kind of fun because sometimes they go in directions you didn't really see them going, but it ends up being really good content.
It surprises me every time. It really does. Like every time I'm sitting down there, we're like rolling, and I'm like, did we really start talking about that just now?
Oh, the rabbit holes you can get going down. It's funny, yeah. My buddy Colin Ball and I used to do a show. We actually had to discontinue it just because of schedules and stuff like that. But it was the Corner Chair podcast, which is a random chair I've had since freshman year. And it was that kind of style where it was just kind of random, just stuff, and it was fun. Sometimes they're the most fun shows to produce. Because you're not tied down to a certain topic, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have all these shows and stuff like that, which is really impressive because you guys just started this summer, right? When did you guys start?
Our official site opening was July 15th.
Okay,
And
July 15th.
It's been kind of pre-planning for a while. It's kind of had this weird transition period of being a video game focused site and then going off to kind of what it is now.
Right.
And having everybody just kind of committed on. We put our hands down like, we're going to totally do this. It's like, well, let's wait one more week, okay? Let me code this up a little bit.
So has it morphed at all? Has it, you said it did change, but did you guys predict it kind of changing into what it has? Or was that the plan, or did it kind of just do that on its own?
I would say some of it was planned, but a lot of it, I think, was pretty spontaneous. I think a lot of the ideas...
The topic matters.
Yeah, the matters of like, oh, I want to get the game thing going on, I want to get the game capture, to do Twitch and stuff like that. But then it was kind of like, allow everybody to do what they would like to do when they want to do it, and some things such as like Tim and Jim, which is a video series, tackling tough topics while using webcams. That was idea from like Tim just out of the blue. Because I was like, hey, you want to come over and do this? And he's, not to talk bad, he's a little lazy. He was like, you know what? Let's use webcams. You surprise me with stuff out of a hat.
Let's make it easy. You don't have to come over. All you have to do is sit in front of your computer.
Yes. Like, sit on your lazy boy, Tim. We're totally doing this.
Right.
He got on his leg and we end up doing it. So.
I think that's when the best ideas come through, or when it's just kind of it morphs into something you didn't think. For Uyghur Tech, I started out just me sitting in front of my webcam answering questions, and I'm like, well, I like to talk about news. Let's add in some tech news, and then I like to interview people. Let's bring in guests, and just the more it kind of morphs and takes shape, it kind of shows what you're really into. Because I think we all have the vision of where we want it to go, but our true passion will always show. Kind of like you guys said, it's your passion driven. So I think your passions end up coming out whether you like it or not. Which is always fun.
Maybe a little too much passion. But Nate, you're about to say something.
Yeah, I mean, like, we had the idea a couple of years ago, and then, like, it kind of morphed more. I was like, well, I kind of want something to show my photography on. And then that's where it kind of, like, started branching off. Hey, let's do other things on here. Like, we have other passions than video games. Let's just open it up, and that's what happened.
Not have them all in a room be like, you're playing this video game whether you like it or not.
Right. Well, you guys said something that I really liked in the pre-show, and that you guys said that I was asking you kind of how you got started, and if Red Button Jam Fest was kind of if it was like encompassed everything you did. And you said video games is kind of the glue. It kind of keeps us all together, but then we each get to do everything that we like with all that stuff, which is kind of cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we come together for the random guys. We come together for we get a web series on video games that we play through called Game Dingleberries, where we all jump in randomly and play 2, 3, 4 player games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and commentate over it, and have our thing going on there. And it falls under that let's play genre. But I try my best to spice it up, not just with us, but we have these things called bonus stages at the end of the level, where it's just kind of me just farting around with the video that we have, and actually trying to create, put more emphasis on editing and style, and so try to be as flashy. Like have Vanilla Ice just pop up out of nowhere for no apparent reason. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's perfect transition because there's this whole let's play movement, and that's what you said. So maybe to my audience who doesn't watch video game on YouTube or anything like that, explain the let's play thing to the audience.
Yeah, well, my first introduction of it was, I would say, a few years ago. If you're talking about let's play, it'd be like, I remember Giant Bomb. It's a site that has what they call their quick looks, where they play the games and commentate over. It's like a let's play format. But I think that kind of just grew because more people have been committing to getting the capture devices like the Elgatos and things of that nature. With that, kind of sprouted out more people wanting to record their game footage or editing their game footage. You have people that became personalities by editing footage and putting commentary on that, like a review style.
Right, and then when these games come out, they're kind of expensive. I mean, you're looking at $60 for a brand new game. And do you want to shell out $60 for a game that's not going to necessarily be that great? So we live in this era now where you can search for a game on Google, look for video footage of it, and it's not just the trailer that the game producers made, but rather people playing the game and giving their comments about it, which is kind of great.
That's where I first ran into the let's play thing, was exactly what you just said. I was looking up a game, and the trailers are all edited. That's not what the game actually... I mean, that's what the game looks like, but that's not the perspective you're getting when you're playing these games. And so when I started to look up these games, I saw the let's play thing, and I saw people actually going through and playing the games. And I thought it was really interesting, and you're totally right. That's how I kind of started. And then now, though, live streaming is huge. It went from editing and putting commentary over it to now these people just stream themselves playing, and they put themselves in, and you're hearing exactly what they're saying. And sometimes they even interact with their chat room while they're live. It's grown like crazy.
I think, and you have like Amazon paying buku dollars for Twitch just to have that live streaming service. And I think the big thing about it is, in terms of gaming, is you have the esports movement, but I think you have the personalities. You have people that are relating to the people that they see playing the game. Like, I can't wait to see such and such play this game and see what their response is. And it's that interactivity they have with their audience that you don't quite get. Like, if you're watching a basketball game, you're not quite having LeBron James pick up a microphone and be like, James, what do you think about that free throw? And I'm like, thanks, LeBron. Thanks for acknowledging me. You have that kind of almost like your buddies on the couch, like, hey, what you playing? It's like, oh, I'm playing Gears of War. I'm like, oh, sweet. Let me just watch it and hang out for just a little bit.
I think it's cool. I mean, you also have too, like, the ideas of back in the day when you go to a video store, and maybe it's a small local video store, and that owner would have John's picks of the week or whatever. You got to kind of know, hey, if he likes this type of movie, he'll also like this type. I'm interested in what he enjoys watching. You see a game that you're enjoying somebody watch play, like you maybe go for that game, but then you see them play a different game, you kind of connect with that individual.
Yeah, it's bringing back that's so true. I didn't even think of that. It's bringing back kind of the personal aspect to games, because like you said, when we used to rent, you knew the guy down at the video store, and he's like, oh, if you rented this game before, if you rented Halo before, you're gonna love this game, give it a try. Yeah. And but I think you guys both nailed. I mean, James especially, when you said that it's a personality. Because I only watch a few of these people online. I watch a few gaming people, but I watch them because they are hysterical to listen to while they play. Yeah, I love the game, and some of them are Minecraft, which honestly I don't play Minecraft, but I love listening to how funny this guy can be while he builds really crazy stuff. And it's almost like these people who maybe before their personality might not have been accepted by culture. They're a little nerdy, they're a little weird, but now they've found an audience. They've found people that love listening to them, and they just think they're great. So it's created this whole different audience, I think, for these sort of individuals that do this, and I think it's great. It's fantastic.
And you have these big companies kind of paying more attention to it, outside just Amazon. With, for example, like we talked about in the pre-show about PewDiePie, and sorry if I mispronounced it.
Yeah, no,
But-
I don't know how to pronounce it either. So.
But he is grossing a lot, and the thing about it is that he actually works under Maker Studio, which just got bought out by Disney. So he's actually literally under contract with Disney. Which is I thought that was kind of weird. I almost found it kind
Well,
of
a guy who starts streaming himself playing video games now is under contract from Disney. I don't think he would have ever expected that. I don't think anyone ever would.
no.
And the thing is like it's gotten big now where like the PS4 has it built into it.
Yeah, Xbox and
Yeah.
PS4 has Twitch and Ustream built into it.
Right. So speaking of Twitch, Roger in the chat room is kind of wondering how we all feel about Twitch. So first of all, I'm going to just kind of tell anyone who doesn't know what Twitch is. Imagine kind of a live streaming service for strictly video games. You have to be somewhat related to video games, and you can live stream yourself, and people can watch and chat with you while you're doing it. And so Twitch kind of started, it spun off from Justin.tv, which Justin.tv was a live streaming service, kind of like how I'm doing now with YouTube and Google Plus and Google Hangouts. They did Justin.tv was another live streaming service, and they were more meant on the personal side. And then they spun off Twitch for gaming, and Amazon just bought them. So have you guys ever used Twitch? Are you guys on Twitch?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I just I've seen the chat room here about how I feel about Twitch, and now I don't have my own video streaming network per se, but when it comes to Twitch, I do like how it operates. It is really nice. It is, I guess it's kind of the convenience of it that it's already set up. It's already a platform that is built into some of the newer systems. And even in terms of video capture devices, they have that built in. The Elgato Game Capture HD has the Twitch servers right there with a button press.
Does it? Okay, see, that's one thing I didn't know. I was going to ask you guys about hardware and stuff like that. So they do now have hardware built straight for those platforms then?
Yes.
Okay,
and
cool.
You can have it, and then you can have the Open Broadcaster software to create your own overlays onto that game capture that's streaming up. So you can have a little personal chat room that pops on the screen, or you can have yourself represented if you have a green screen behind you, unless you want to see a little bit of the background,
Right.
And so you see that kind of that added flair that people could do with that software, which is very interesting, very awesome. And in terms of it, sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the chat to see if there's anything I was missing, but in terms of editing software, I use the Power Director, which is probably not the most high-end editing software in the world. So, but I've been liking how it works so far for what I'm using it for. I'm doing more. I don't want to say basic, like to give it kind of denigrate it to some lower term, but I'm not doing too much elaborate stuff just yet.
And bringing in cost too. I mean, that's something that's minimal cost, if not free, with the computers that comes with the hardware itself. The Elgato is that going for like $150, I think, retail.
It goes up $180, I think.
$180. So I mean, it starts to get up there. So this is all just second jobs for us kind of thing.
Right.
It's we're not going to pour in tens of thousands of dollars into this at this point in time, especially.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. What I was going to go into is that the funny part about this is a lot of these people that are doing this, so you guys are doing it, but then there's also the one thing I think is hilarious is my younger cousin, Jack, he sits there and he watches all of these guys playing Minecraft. Well, he came to me, I think it was on Easter or something like that, and he's like, how do I start streaming? How do I do my own video creation? And I think he's 10 years old, and it's getting these kids that are so young, it sparks their interest. A lot of them might not be interested in live streaming or making videos, but when it comes to video games, you take someone like Minecraft or any other game that they're playing, and they're like, oh, I can stream myself and all that stuff, and they love it, and it gets them kind of connected. And some of the software, they're making it so easy now, which is great. But there's a whole new ecosystem around this whole streaming video games, and I love seeing the younger kids get into it because it gets them, first of all, it takes gaming to a social level, which it already is with playing online, but it makes them more creative while they're playing. They're thinking about editing, and I think when before video games kind of had a bad stigma for being, oh, it kills brain cells and all that stuff.
Someone's in the corner, just in the shadows, and there's little Timmy playing his games, not wanting to talk to anybody.
Exactly. That's the way. If you were probably to ask my parents back in the day what video games were, they probably didn't like me playing them too much. But now I'd say if I had a kid and if he wanted to do this and then edit it and stream it, that's being so creative with what you're doing. I just think it's amazing, and I'm just surprised how fast it grew too.
Yeah, my sister's been, because we don't have a PlayStation 3, or she doesn't have an Xbox, so she'll watch some of these games that she wants to play but she obviously can't afford to buy them because she doesn't have an Xbox or a PS3, or so she'll watch the games through online. So kind of like watching a movie, but it's just someone that played through a game, and they'll record it without having any other audio other than the game audio, which I think is pretty cool because then you get to see the game and you can always stop at any time if you don't want any spoilers if you want to play it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a personalized trailer almost. You know, other people are deciding what we should see and what we shouldn't see, and it gives you that in-depth look at the game that you won't get anywhere else besides maybe renting it or something like that. You actually get to experience the game.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that there is a little bit of controversy with that because Nintendo personally does not want people on YouTube to post certain videos of their content.
I saw that, and I thought that was really interesting.
Which, you know, at one their side of it, I guess, is just because you're using their properties, so they do have a business rights to it. But at the same token, I think they don't realize that it's free advertising for their games. You know, it really is. Like, if I see somebody playing Smash Brothers, it's not like, oh, I'm not going to buy Smash Bros. Because I just perfectly had the experience. I now would like to buy Smash Bros. I think it looks really fun.
And if you know, like what I was mentioning earlier too, it connects with, if you watch somebody play, it's an awesome game. Like, well, I'm going to go out there and buy it, as opposed to, well, the trailers or the previews look good of that game. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy it, and then you get all frustrated saying, this game was junk and I didn't like it. If I would have been able to watch somebody play it first, maybe I would have been more comfortable buying not only that but future titles as well from the same company.
Right. And I think a lot of these companies, me being in law school, I was very interested in that because, the copyright and trademark, and yes, that is these companies' right to restrict what we do with it. But, I mean, okay, let's compare. Let's see what the biggest games are there online. I think Minecraft, by far, at least on YouTube, wins. And I think it's because of the nature of Minecraft. It's a creative game. You can do so many things with it. It's not just a walk through the levels and beat the levels. It's a completely creative game. There's nothing really to do besides create and build and stuff like that.
Like
and with
watching
YouTube, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And so when you're watching these people, it's like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that. Or I literally look on YouTube, how do I make this thing work? And that's what kids are doing nowadays. And I think that is honestly why Minecraft got so big. I think if it weren't for YouTube videos and kids posting and adults and some of that, like, I even watch all the Minecraft videos because I just think it's interesting. And I think if it weren't for everyone making all these videos, I don't think Minecraft gets as big as it is. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, it's got so big that now Microsoft bought the company.
Yeah.
And it's just, it does bring a lot of publicity to Minecraft, and it gets a lot more people interested to play Minecraft and getting right onto it. Same with League of Legends, that kind of boosted Twitch during the early goings. And you do have that esports with StarCraft 2, so watching those people play StarCraft 2, it's amazing what kind of synapses is clicking with them with those figures, because I feel like every time I play StarCraft 2, I'm like a sloth comparison to them.
Oh, I'm the same way. I used to play StarCraft all the time with my friend, and my friend actually got really good at it, my friend John, and he started showing me these people, and it shows their clicks per second even, and it's just insane. I mean, these guys...
I'm just like, yeah, not playing against them.
Right. I'm just going to quit now because I'll never be that good,
Here's my army of two guys against you. Oh, Nate, you're right.
Yeah, it's the idea of watching the creativity at work, like seeing someone's imagination go right in front of your eyes, is watching them do it. It's kind of like if you're like walking somewhere and you're seeing like one of those artists do one of those portraits for the people. It's like kind of just getting mesmerized by it, by seeing like, oh wow, like it's like it is like that simple, but it's the way they put all these simple things together to make something complex. It's that idea of watching that to be like, wow, that's amazing that you can do that.
Right. Yeah, it's just like watching someone, like you said, paint or do anything creative. It's just intriguing, and we're almost impressed by their, talent, their skill of what they're doing. It's intriguing. I equated it at first. When this first all started happening, I have to admit, I thought it was almost like watching fishing on TV. It's like, man, I'm so lazy. I'm not fishing. I'm watching someone fish. And so at first when all this stuff happened with the game, I'm like, man, I am lazy. I'm not gaming. I'm watching someone gaming. But as you think about it more and more, there's just so many reasons that it's intriguing. There's so many reasons that it's fun to watch. And obviously everyone else feels the same way because of how big it is.
Yeah. And not to spin it off, I see a few questions in the chat room that I feel like I would like to start answering.
Yeah, I was just going to go to there. Perfect.
I see one from Roger that did we ever think about having our own game talk show live on the radio? And in terms of things, like in terms of video games, I think there is enough fertile ground for news, in terms of reviewing games that you could do through audio-only basis. Now, of course, it won't be one of those cases where, hey, everybody, you're going to listen to me play this game, and it's like, well, we're not really watching you.
Right.
So video games are an audio-video experience, but just like movies and stuff like that, there is so much that goes on with companies, so much that goes on with the news of games. There's so much things that go on behind the scenes that you read about, just with any field in particular. And also games just have, maybe because I am a huge gaming nerd, but they have such an interesting history of how it pretty much spawned so many consoles in the 70s, early 80s, and then it just fell. It literally just almost bankrupted itself. And then due to Nintendo, which is like they're dabbling in games. They're a company that's been around for 100 years. They've been doing cards and all this stuff before that. Decided to start doing this video game thing when no stores wanted to hold their product, and that was the thing that brought gaming back. And then you had Sega come in, you had just these console wars, you had people just getting heated battles and acquisitions. And
even bringing up console wars, I just finished that book, Console Wars, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that movie is being brought to a major motion picture.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I want to say Seth Rogen's involved in it somehow. I don't know.
That wouldn't surprise me. He'd be awesome in one of those movies.
What's that?
He'd be awesome in one of those.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent. What is he? If he's an actor in it or a producer or whatever. But yeah, I've heard that name spun around with that title. So.
Well, and I think with games too, it's almost like a movie where there's a backstory and there's so much you can talk about with the movie, and you can go into all like the subplots and then talk about all that stuff. Where I think people don't realize this, but in games that exists. And so I think there is, how Roger asked about a talk show for radio. Even though you're not seeing it, I think you could have a really successful, I think in terms of podcast, that just radio too though, an audio only version. I think there'd be a lot to talk about. I think people who are into games would love to hear about that backstory and what you guys would think and stuff like that. So I hadn't really thought of an all audio type of show about games, but I think it would be really successful. And I know there's some out there, but I think it's just like movies. I think there's so many shows, so many radio stations, so many things that cover movies and stuff. I think it would be really successful with games.
And I think with games in particular it's newer. Movies are a little bit. They date back a little farther back, so the craft of movies has been evolving for a while. Whereas games, you could think back about 20 years, they've been taking these huge jumps into being more narrative experiences. So you go from something as simple as a couple lines on the screen with a dot going between them to now playing Call of Duty and having that intense Michael Bay-esque almost storyline come right before your eyes with all these explosions and all this work. You're going from got 5 guys that made Mortal Kombat, now you got over 100 guys making the new Mortal Kombat. And you have so many people that are dedicating their work and craft into games, and they're still figuring out ways to get the 3D platformer down. They got that down. Okay, now how do we get the perfect shooter on console?
Right. Well, and I know that every time a new Call of Duty comes out, I have to go online and do search for a recap of what happened in the last one, storyline-wise. Because when I play the single player, it's a year, and I've kind of forgotten what happened in the last year. So there's already that market out there for people who, the storylines in these games are just as important as storylines in books and movies, and maybe even more so because it's interactive. You're interacting with the storyline. In a movie, you're watching it, which is good, and in a book, you're reading it. But in a video game, you are interacting with these storylines. So I think almost more than movies and books, people like the storylines of games because they feel like they're part of it, which is interesting. But Brian, there's a question in the chat for you from someone asking you, when will you stream live on Twitch, or if you will?
Yeah, no, we definitely plan on going on Twitch very soon on a more regular basis. 2 of our dates coming up where we're definitely going to be streaming on Twitch. This coming Saturday, the 10th.
Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Friday the 10th. I apologize, Friday the 10th. We'll be going from noon until midnight Pacific time, and it's basically Mario Day, and we'll be playing Mario.
Not basically Mario Day. It's the best day ever.
There you go. And we'll be playing 12 hours of Mario games with looking at the opportunity for people to donate to a charity if they so choose to do also. Which
is Extra Life, so it's going through the Children Miracle Network. And we're doing it for the Phoenix Children's Hospital, but there's so many people that are playing for many different kinds of hospitals, and any support is perfect. If you want to be part of our team and play some Mario games with us, I would be more than welcome to join people to play more Mario games, and if they want to live stream them and celebrate this kind of weird day together. And then we have the other one, which is actually it has official game day, which is the 25th, and I'm looking at going on there and playing nothing but Gears with my friend Tim. So.
And this is a great theme I'm seeing with gaming because I had really never even heard of kind of these all-night game-a-thons where you're raising money for charity, and all of a sudden, I swear on all my podcasts, and if anyone on the podcast plays video games, they're talking about these. And man, what a cool way to raise money. Because, a lot of us would be doing this anyway. A lot of us would be playing games. Why not make money? Why do it and make it a social event? And it's just one more way that this whole gaming thing is becoming so social and so shared and so worldwide. And it's really cool, really fun to see. But yeah, for those of you guys who didn't know that those things exist, these all-night game-a-thons are out there, and you can go and join them. And a lot of times they're online, so you don't even need to meet up somewhere. You can just all do it online. So. Yeah,
and one more thing is I noticed is that. Oh, thank you so much, MIB7C09HU. Sorry if I mispronounced. But I want to say that, when it comes to Brandon asked a question about how do you get more people to watch your stream, and I think that's kind of a pivotal thing. I think that's something that, we're starting up. So for us, it is just trying to get more traction. But I think the best advice I can give is being consistent, is probably having those dates set out and then let people know about it. Like we did a Destiny beta stream, and by letting people know about, hey, we're doing a stream at this time and date, we did have a drive of people that come in, and to have hashtags for that game, as dorky as it sounds on Twitter, just be like, hey, I'm gonna go play some Super Mario Brothers tomorrow at this time, or
those keywords. Yeah.
Just please join me. And
keywords, I would totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't stream live video games, but obviously this show is a live stream, and I've had the same, Brandon, it's a common question. How do you get more people to join your stream? And, obviously I only have a few, but it was down to nothing for a while, and then how do you get those? I think the big thing is that if you have the shows, if they show after you live stream, so let's say you stream, you only have 0 people, but people can go in and watch it later, which I think Twitch does that, right?
It saves it, and strange enough, it does go on YouTube. You can export to YouTube.
Yeah, and that's what mine do too. So be sure in your streams to talk about when you're going to be on live next and when you are on live, because someone watching, if you say, hey, by the way, I stream, and sticking to a schedule, I think is the biggest way to get more live streams. Yeah. Because all of the podcasts that I listen to live, all the shows I watch live, they're on certain nights of the week at certain times. So it just becomes part of my schedule. And if you can get into people's routines, that's when you start getting more viewers and stuff like that. Just get into their schedule. So if you say, I don't care if for the next 2 months I get no viewers, every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. I stream. Eventually people will start remembering that and like, oh, it's a theme, and every time they see it on Twitter, oh yeah, this is Wednesday again at 11 o'clock. I think you'll start to gain more. So a schedule, I think, is one of the big keys to gaining more viewers in your live stream.
And then interacting with people too, just to let them know that they're there, that they're part of it. That experience, unless for some reason you want to get in the zone. There are some games I'll recommend, like if you're playing a scary game, like me, if I was going to play like Alien Isolation, which I might stream live tomorrow, debating it, but if I'm going to do that, I would rather do that with, not to be a jerk, but not me looking at the chat, just so I could keep myself zoned into that game, because I know that I'll probably be screaming my head off regardless.
Right. But it's so true. Talking to your audience while you're live streaming, it's so much fun. All the shows that I watch, when I'm typing in the chat room, they answer my questions or they call me out. And so that's what I try to do in my show, is that if you guys are talking over here, I like to at least, bring in, they kind of scroll up and I'm trying to read them during the show. But talking to people is a great way. That's why I still watch streams live, because it brings value to me. When I can talk and be a part of the show, that's valuable. That's why I watch it live compared to listening to it later, just because for me it adds more value.
I would say also, too, just being genuine, being yourself.
Yes.
If you try to not be yourself and you try to be, something that you're not, then it definitely shines through real easily.
Well, and that shows back to what we talked about earlier about your personality is what people fall in love with. There's a million channels out there to find game footage of that game you're playing. Most likely, if you're playing a common game, people can go elsewhere and see the footage. what they're sticking around for is your personality. And so you're so right, Brian, being true to yourself. It's really hard to fake a personality for a long time. You might be able to get away with it for 10 minutes, but then you're going to fall back into your normal personality. So be yourself. I guarantee there's going to be people out there that like you for you. And a lot of us don't think that. When I started live streaming, I thought there's no way anyone's going to be interested in what I have to say or like my personality, but you gradually find those people that do, and those people are the people that are there every week watching you live. Those are the people that at least watch and give you feedback, and so I think that is the key, Brian. I think you nailed it, is being yourself, because that's what people watch for. That's why people listen.
Yeah, and so it's to really be yourself as you're playing and enjoying the experience. If you don't enjoy it, then the people that are watching are not going to enjoy it. You want to enjoy the fact you're playing a game. You don't want to be like robotic, like, well, I'm going to have to play Destiny now for about an hour, and you're just like, I'm not really feeling this right now.
Right.
And then people are watching and be like, well, I'll skip this guy.
So true. Okay, so we've talked about kind of growing the stream and stuff like that. So what I kind of teased the show with was making money on YouTube, and how people do this and what the most successful people are doing. And so just kind of want to talk about some numbers here with you guys. We were talking in the pre-show about it, but I want to throw it out to our listeners. So just to let you guys know, people do make a lot of money on YouTube, and that's all through ad revenue. So when you have an ad at the beginning, when you're watching an ad at the beginning of a YouTube show, people make money for every time you watch that ad, and they make even more money if you click on it. But every view, you get just a little bit of money. For people who aren't getting many views, you don't make much. But so I found a list of the top kind of 40 people who are earning money on YouTube, and it's shocking because 5 of the top 10 are actually gaming channels, and the number 1 channel on YouTube, and we're talking about revenue, not views, not subscribers, just pure revenue, is PewDiePie. And we talked about him earlier. We kind of mentioned him, which I had heard of because he made money on YouTube. I've never watched his channel, but I know, James, you said you kind of watched him before at least a few times. And he is making $7 million a year on YouTube. It's just shocking.
And he his own studio, and I'm like, well, if you have $7 million, you're done with your contract, more power to you. Definitely have that ability to.
Right, because he's the one you were talking about earlier is under contract with Disney, right?
Essentially, because he's a part of Maker Studio. And he was just talking about that there's certain things that he felt that kind of limits him. It was just a recent article, so he didn't really go too much in details, but he's kind of seems like flirting an idea when that's up that he's going to go on his own.
Right.
I mean, I'm not speaking for him because I'm not him, but never know. He might probably be doing that. So.
But it's still just crazy that someone streaming themselves playing games can make up to $7 million a year. And I'm just going to go through kind of some other ones. There was Toby Games, $4.2 million. He's number 7. There's these 2. Sky Does Minecraft, $2.3 million a year. And all of these are getting, okay, so PewDiePie gets 5.4 billion views a year, which is a lot, obviously. Yeah. But some of these other ones, they're in the millions. Let's see. I guess Sky Does Minecraft is still 2.1 billion, but some of these, to make $1 million, they're in the high 100 million views a year, which sounds like a lot, but honestly on YouTube, over a year, if you're collecting all the views, for these guys, if you have the amount of subscribers these guys have, isn't too hard to get that many views. But obviously these guys are kind of the elite. They are above, and it's really hard to get these kind of numbers. Have you guys tried to monetize YouTube at all?
We haven't quite yet.
Okay.
We're looking at. So right now we are ad free.
All right. It's a big plus.
It won't last.
Quick, do you guys have a light you could turn on? You guys got dark when the sun went down.
Sorry, I noticed that too. I was looking at the screen. I was like, we are becoming that creepy guy.
No, and I kind of just slowly noticed it. I was like, oh, it's getting.
Oh no, over there.
But oh, perfect. That might be
bright light. Make it feel.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So you guys are ad free right now, but plans in the future to monetize it or not?
To monetize it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed you there. Yeah, I'm definitely looking towards that. Right now, we're just kind of opening up a business account together and all that stuff to look at that. But I would think more so tasteful advertisements. Weird as that sounds, just not go overboard and not to have our webpage all of a sudden magically have 20 banners on it.
Right. So are you guys thinking about controlling your own advertisers, going out and getting affiliate links, or are you guys just going to go with what Google throws on there? Because if you want to control your advertisements, a lot of those, that means going out and getting sponsors to have affiliate links and stuff like that. Is that what you guys are more looking at doing?
I think we're looking at that maybe more on the for our iTunes podcasts, something along those lines.
Okay.
But as far as for the website and for YouTube, the Google provided ones more than likely on most of them. I know we're also looking at possibly the Amazon click-throughs as well.
Okay. Yep. I use all those, which are great. I want to give our viewers, I kind of forgot to mention this at the beginning, and for you guys who watch me, you guys know that I do the live call-in, and so that is up tonight. I should have put it up earlier, but there's the number. So if you guys want to call in live and ask Red Button Jamfest or me any question about what we're talking about, call on in. It's 402-915-0790. All I ask you guys, keep it family friendly. This is a family friendly show, but I have no worries that my audience won't do that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to leave that number up there. Interrupt us, call on in. I think all of us would love to answer some questions from you guys. Because so monetization is kind of a tricky topic, and like you guys, in my first 5 months, I didn't try and monetize at all, and then I slowly turned on Google and on YouTube. I turned on the monetization, and on my live shows, I don't turn on monetization during the show because I don't want you guys, when you guys are watching live, I don't want you guys to have to look at ads and banners and all that stuff. But I do turn it on afterwards. But honestly, I might as well not, because the money, I mean, it covers monthly. It does cover the cost of running a website, which is good. But before, in the early stages, it wasn't at all. But now it's at least enough to cover the website. But I really like the idea, like you guys were talking about, with affiliate links and stuff like that. Obviously, when I talk about Amazon, Audible.com, so you guys can listen to audiobooks. If you guys go to audible.com/WeakerTech, that helps me out. So that's an ad for Audible, but I love Audible, and they are a company that I believe in. It's not something that Google just throws in. I truly believe in the product, and so I send people all the time to audibletrial.com/WeakerTech, like I'm doing right now, if you guys want to try out Audible and listen to audiobooks. But that kind of monetization right there, I feel like is more personal. I think like people like that type of monetization more than just the ads. I think the ads almost get annoying after a while. But if you guys had a product you guys believed in, and I was listening to you guys like, oh, check out product XYZ. We use it all the time for our live stream. It's amazing. I might actually go out and buy that product because you guys are specifically endorsing it. It's not just something that you guys just, it's on your video. So I think that's a really good way to monetize.
And it's something that, like you just said, it's a product you believe in, so it's something that you'd like to use, and it's a personal use, and it's kind of a recommendation at that point. So nothing. Right. I think it would be odd if I was to be like, okay, everybody, you need to get those new girl loafers from this place. People are like, okay, hold the phone there, sir. We don't think you're the proper spokesperson for this. So, but we're definitely looking at that, and I mean, right now I'm kind of strangely enjoying the ad-free site before it goes crazy. Just joking.
Well, that's what I try and do. Oh, and we actually have a caller here. So let's see if we can get him piped in. Give me 1 second here. 1 second. Hello, who's this?
Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, can you guys hear Brandon all right? Just double checking. All right, Brandon, so what's your question?
My question is, what is the easiest way to get sponsors for your YouTube channel?
So sponsors, as in, do you want your channel to be part of a network, or do you just want advertisers, or what?
Both.
Okay. Well, the way I've done it, and so like I just said, so I have Audible.com and I have Lynda.com, two companies that I use now. I had Dollar Shave Club a while back, but it's really easy. Actually, most of those sites, if you go there and you scroll down to the bottom, most companies, most things like that will have what's called an affiliate program. And so you click on that link and you apply, you put in your website or your YouTube channel, stuff like that. And basically what they do is they'll create a custom link for you. So for me, lynda.com/WeakerTech or audibletrial.com/WeakerTech. I send people there, and on the Audible side, they'll throw in something like a free 30-day trial. That's what people get from my Audible link. And then when people go to that link, you get credit. And so, but the way you get them is honestly going through their website, and usually they're under the description of affiliate program. Usually companies won't just pay you money to advertise. Usually they want something out of it, so usually they want you to drive traffic to their site. But if you go to any website, try and look for that affiliate link. Usually most companies have one.
All right.
Yeah. And you also, like through YouTube, you do have the monetization structure, but when it comes to Twitch, which is a different subject, it depends on how many subscribers you have in terms of becoming a partner.
Right.
and building on a subscription model from there. So some of the bigger Twitch people, like your Angry Joe and stuff like that, they are able, because they're more premium members, to have like a subscription. Like you subscribe like $5 a month and become a member, and they can offer kind of incentives to be that. I mean, I've seen some Twitch players will ring a dong, like just hit it, and they're like, "Thank you so much, XYZ, for being my subscriber," and then they're back in the game right there. I'm just getting really serious about it.
I've seen too, like the custom emoticons and things like that you can participate in the chat room if you're a subscriber, things like that.
So, and but it's if you're looking at like having people to say, "Hey, this is a game I'm playing. This is a game I'm really interested in." You know, even something as even talking to your friends, get them to be a part of it, local. Now, I am not a big Facebook person, but you know, I don't hate it. But people that you use it, the Twitter accounts that will project out, "Hey, I'm gonna go play this. I'm gonna go be a part of this," and to have people kind of drive in, and hope to keep them around, and then you get to kind of build that base. But it does take, I would say, take time, because we're definitely at the, I would say, the front end, of that. So
does that help you out? Oh, sorry, Brian.
I was just gonna mention merchandise too, but sometimes merchandising, especially if you're just starting out, the source of where you get that merchandising can be quite expensive, so the profit margin isn't going to be that high necessarily. So, but I have seen some people use that.
Right. But so, are you on YouTube right now, Brandon?
Yes, I am.
Cool. Do you want to give a shout out to your YouTube name? We'll give it a look.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, my YouTube name is Aware Blue Water.
Aware, so AWARE Blue Water?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
We will give that a look. So all my audience, go check him out. What kind of videos do you do?
Well, I do have a capture card, but it's not working right now, but I do like a lot of Call of Duty.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into competitive a little bit and stuff like that.
Very cool. So Aware Blue Water. That is very cool. So we will be sure to check that out. And yeah, like they said, the YouTube revenue, the monetization on YouTube is the easiest way to go. If you don't want to have to kind of, especially, I don't know if you're over 18 or not, I won't ask you that, but if you're not over 18, a lot of times you can't sign up for affiliate programs. But on YouTube, I think if you do some stuff with a parent or with just you, I don't know how old you are, but there's age restrictions, so check those out. But the YouTube revenue is, I think, the easiest way to go, because honestly, all you have to do is click the button that says monetize. And it's easy as that. I think you have to have 100 subscribers before you can do that. And so at 100 subscribers, you can start doing that.
Well,
And
I
then-
do have 22 subscribers. I mean,
22?
yeah.
Perfect. Well, yeah, just keep working on that number, and hopefully tonight we can get you some more. I might go over and subscribe. And hopefully we can get you up to 100, because once you get 100, that's when you can start doing a lot of the stuff. At 100, you can start live streaming as well. So I couldn't live stream until I got 100 subscribers, which is actually kind of backwards. You would think if, how do I get subscribers if I can't live stream? So I had to put out a lot of edited videos and stuff like that. But very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and to say about that is, with the monetization of YouTube, is if you're doing Let's Plays, you're fine. But if you're gonna put, just make sure you do everything under fair use. So don't be stuff like that. And
Like copyrights and stuff.
yeah, that's I just want to say that. Just to kind of
Geez, that was loud.
Oh, that's fine. And but to kind of just have that awareness, and now I'm where to check out and see how the videos are and all that, and I think it's really nice. I think also what YouTube does is it also allows people to put up 30-second ads for their stuff, and you also could promote your videos as well if you want to. You could do it by up to a certain amount of views, or you could do it by a dollar amount. Like, I just want to have $10 of advertising this video series or this video for the day. If you have,
Like an advertising budget.
advertising budget. I mean, we're not really we're not gonna say we're throwing around anything like that, but
very cool. Well, Brandon, do you have any other questions for us?
No, that'll be all.
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you, Brandon. Thanks for joining us live. It's been a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All righty. Well, cool to hear from Brandon. That's a lot of fun. And I think because he's in the boat that a lot of us are in, and he's kind of the people that we were kind of talking to tonight are kind of, how do you start to monetize your YouTube channel? Can you even make money? And obviously when we start talking about people making millions of dollars, that's not going to be, I think some people think, oh, it's so easy. I'm going to make $1 million off YouTube and stuff like that. It does take a long time, but you never know. If you have a personality that people just love, you could end up being someone who, maybe not $1 million, maybe you make $100 a month, but still $100 a month is quite a bit of money. And I mean, I would love that. If I made $100 a month on YouTube, I'd be great. So
Well, the next 2 games to play on Twitch.
right, there you go.
Oh, if it's something you love to do, it's just a nice bonus to get the money that comes in, just to cover your time of expenses.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I've always talked about with my monetization. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. That was really loud. We have another call in though. So I guess just turn that down. 1 second here.
That's fine.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi. Who's this?
This is Roger from WLMN Radio. How are you?
Good. How are you, Roger?
I'm doing great. Great show. I want to give a shout out to all you guys. I had a quick question. You kind of sparked my interest on this gaming thing. I know this is like the next big thing, so to speak, and you got to go with the times. I understand all that. You would think, to kind of rewind your program there briefly, you were saying something about Nintendo, is kind of funny about showing their content on, like as far as on the video side of things.
Right.
Why would that be? You would think that they would want to promote that. And then again, I'm wondering what would they be hiding? I mean, that just kind of sparks my interest there a little bit.
I think the thing about Nintendo in particular as a business is it's very traditional Japanese style business. So they keep a lot of things. They want to keep a lot of things under the hood. But when it comes to their properties, they feel in some ways that maybe some videos might warp their properties in ways they don't want it. Like someone playing a family-friendly game like Mario but swearing over it is probably some of their concern, because they're kind of like the Disney of games. They have a very family-friendly first approach when you think of their name, and they try to keep that up. But I think another thing really is that they're trying to they want people to get permission from them to do it, and I think it's also monetary too, where they kind of want more control over the content that comes out when they don't really see that they're going to end up making more money in terms of that being serving as advertising.
Yeah, no.
As the other 2 companies like Sony and Microsoft, they built into their systems. Actually, Sony has a share button on their controller for live streaming because they feel like this is the next step from Facebook. This is going to be our Facebook era of making this very social networking, and they're all in for it. Whereas Nintendo's like kind of, I don't want to say back. They're more traditional. They're more like their online structure isn't as involved, and I think that there's a bit of a disconnect between them and maybe some of the consumers, and understanding that me playing like a Mario game, recording it or live casting, doing stuff like that is not a hindrance to them in terms of people wanting to buy the product.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well put. I can appreciate that. Well said. Yeah. You would think, okay, like let's take this program, Open Mic Night, okay?
Right.
I rebroadcast that, okay, for Mike, okay, on WLMNradio.com. Now, when I do that, obviously, I'm promoting his product. I mean, you would think you would want to stand behind that person or persons or however, their product, that their brand, so to speak, that they're putting out, in this case Uyghur Tech, and show that and want to really say, hey, look at this, and you would think that Nintendo, not trying to compare Nintendo to Uyghur Tech, but I'm saying like
that's a great thing for me. You can compare me to Nintendo all you want. That'd be awesome. If I was Nintendo, I'd be a very happy person. So.
Well, it's just you see my point though. What I'm trying to say, I'm trying to put it in the right context here, and it's just like because I think when you said that, you really and again you sparked my interest. You guys did, because it's like you would think that they would really appreciate that. It's free promotion. I mean, I understand. It's like it's kind of in a sense too on the negative side. I want to say for a moment that, and I'm not cutting Nintendo down or any other company out there first and foremost. But you would think that they're like kind of hide something, or they're ashamed of their product, or I mean, I don't know.
I think James had it right when he said that they really just want to protect their brand. Nintendo has always been known to be a very conservative company, and I think that, you know, and they have really strong trademarks, copyrights. When someone says Nintendo, people can instantly start naming names and games and characters and stuff like that. And I think they just really want to protect those trademarks. I think they want to make sure that they're held strong. And I think James said it right, is when you have people out there that can do any sort of commentary on top of it, I think it just scares Nintendo. I think they're going to play it conservative no matter what. And I think Nintendo doesn't really care about the extra money because their audience is pretty well set. Whereas some of these other games are still growing, and they're brands that are kind of new or not as, you know, not as as Nintendo. You know, Nintendo's been around for a while. I couldn't think of the word, but I think still some of these newer companies, they'll take any sort of publicity they can get. Whereas Nintendo, I don't think they need it. You know,
Nintendo is like a secular company. They have their Nintendo faithful. Like they have people that really love their product and will keep on having their product. And it's kind of when you meet in.
Let me. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry, they froze out for just a little bit, but go ahead, Roger.
Okay, I'm sorry. Not to interrupt you. Okay, what about let's go this avenue for a moment. Okay, what about say like the Xbox? Okay, Xbox, they don't need no promotion, bar none. Period. End of discussion. Okay, well then then how come, you know, like a bigger company, say like Xbox, how come they're not complaining, you know, about restreaming their video content?
I think it's a difference of views. Microsoft and Sony are really open to it. Sony built it into their machines because they feel that this is how things are trending. This is how we see the things are going in about 5 to 10 years. That people are going to be gaming more socially, and we want to hit that market before other companies hit it. You know, so they have that control. Whereas Nintendo, I think it's like for them, it came. I don't want to make it sound like their old ways, but I think it came out of left field. They're like, oh, there's videos about our games. And then I'm not going to bring it up this one guy watching videos and he makes determinations.
Well, yeah, but that's exactly probably how they probably didn't see that coming because they've been around forever. They didn't grow up in the age of online video gaming.
And sorry, Nate.
I think the thing also with Nintendo is they have iconic characters that they want to protect. I think you kind of said that. Whereas when you look at Sony and Microsoft, when I think Xbox, I think Master Chief. When I think of Sony, I don't really think of one specific character because they keep switching up IPs. They don't keep the same one through each system. Where Nintendo, there's always a Mario game. There's always a Zelda game.
Right.
And then there's always like an alternate with it.
You know, and I would also think too, like the target audience for Nintendo is even though, you know, people universally love playing Nintendo games, you know, their target audience are children. Yeah. You know, preteens and younger, I think, and you know, I don't know about the terms and agreement on Twitch. Maybe you have to be a certain age.
Well, the thing is that with Nintendo, when you think about it, when you think about their online structure, we're talking back with Xbox 360. If I go a little too whatever, just tell me to slow down or whatever. But with the last set of systems, Xbox Live was an online service. Sony had kind of jumped on a little bit later, and Nintendo didn't have any games that were online for the Wii. And the ones that were didn't have voice chat, but the other companies did. And I think Nintendo's like literally behind the times when it comes to the online system of things, of how that infrastructure is, and that kind of molds their policies in some really weird ways that when you look at it, like if I was the CEO of Nintendo, I would be like, yeah, this system would have Twitch built into it. I would have, you know, not to sound like I would have made it the best system of all time, but I would have felt like been a little more loose with that because I just see how the community is going with that. But I think with Nintendo, it is trying to protect their IPs. It's trying to have a little bit more control of what they show. They do show trailers. They do have their thing that they promote. but I think it all boils down to maybe keeping things under control with them. So.
Yeah.
No.
Roger, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I greatly appreciate it, and it really brought me, you give me a little bit of education there, and appreciate the work that you guys do, and I look forward to seeing you here on Open Mic Night again. Mike, you got to bring him back on, man.
I agree, Roger. I do. It's been a really good conversation. So.
Yes, it has. I got to run, but great show as always, and you guys keep on taking on.
Take on, right on, Roger. All right, see you later, Roger.
Yep.
So. Oh.
Okay, well, cool. I love getting call-ins, you guys. So if you guys are out there and you haven't called in yet, I'm gonna be bringing these guys on again. So if you guys didn't get your call in tonight, don't worry, because I guarantee the next few months we'll be having these guys on again. It's been a lot of fun. The one thing I kind of wanted to do before, if you guys want to stick around for this, I'd love it. So I did a giveaway. A while back, I said that, so there's a process for the giveaway, and if you signed up, I was going to be giving away a $350 Apple gift card. But I did say that, we needed at least 100 entries in order to do the giveaway, and sadly we did not get 100. We only got 15. So I can't give away the $350 gift card. I can't do that right now. But what I decided to do was, I love you guys. You 15 people who joined are awesome, and I still want to give you guys something. So what I'm going to do is get a $25 iTunes gift card. I know it's not a $350 card, but at least it's something for the 15 people. So I have got 15 numbers here in a hat, and I'm going to draw right now. We're going to see who wins the $25 iTunes gift card. So let's just see here. I'll look away to make it fair.
Now, notice that's a K you had.
It is. I lived in Kansas for a while, so I know.
Okay.
Let's pretend that's Huskers right now.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing wrong.
I know. We'll pretend it's Huskers, but it's mainly Titleist. I'm a golfer, so we'll just go with that.
There you go.
I'm repping Creighton University right here, which is where I go to school. So, all right. So I'm gonna look away and kind of grab one here. Okay, so it looks like it is number 8, and number 8 is Dave C. from Omaha. So congratulations, Dave C. You won a $25 iTunes gift card, and so I will email you and get your address, and I can get that shipped off to you. So congratulations to Dave C. So that was fun. I hope I'm going to do some more giveaways in the future. But yeah, so that was that. I wanted to get that done real quick. But man, guys, this was awesome. I love chatting with you all night. Thank you so much for coming on.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
No
Real quick, give any sort of plugs for, redbuttonjamfest.com, right? That's the URL?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and then anything else, Twitter, any other thing else you guys want to plug, go ahead and just spit it all out.
All right, I think what we'll do is we'll go reverse from last time with the name. So I'll
Perfect.
go Nateness, and then we'll go with Brian. But for me, I would say my Twitter is @JustSimplyJames. So you have to actually spell out Just Simply James is my Twitter feed. For the site, it's RB Jamfest, at RB Jamfest, and we also have a Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
And those are probably the quick plugs. Oh, and twitch.tv/redbuttonjamfest.
Perfect. Nate?
And then my Twitter handle is @NathanShoe.
Nathan Shoe, like SHOE?
It's NATHANCHU.
CHU. Okay, perfect.
Cool. And for Brian, it's @RBJBrian. That's Brian with an I.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, and one more thing, not to cut off. Also, if you do want to check out the donation, it's extra-life.org/team/RBJ. Or just check out extra-life.org, and you can see anybody would like to check out to donate.
Yeah, send me that link you guys put. Actually, after the show, I'll talk to you guys. I'm going to put that down in the description below, because I want you guys to help these guys out. Gaming for charity, great
It's
idea,
100%.
great thing. So
Not going to us. We're not pocketing any money. It's 100% tax deductible. It goes to a good cause.
Right, exactly. So get on out there and support these guys. Like I said, that link will be down in the description. So if you're watching live, it's not there now, but check back in like 30 minutes and it'll be there. So help them out. Any other plugs, Brian?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, for me, you guys can always find me at WegerTech.com, WIEGER Tech.com. If you guys want to subscribe to this show, there's a lot of different ways. I actually have the audio podcast, and now I have the video feed podcast, so all of that's in iTunes. So just search for Weaker Tech, and you'll find you can subscribe to the video or the audio feed. Like I said, come out and join us live. It's a lot of fun. Like the 2 people that called in tonight, everyone in the chat room, thank you to you guys. Loved having you guys here and your questions. It really just keeps the conversation going, and it tells us what you guys want to hear about. So come out and join us live, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and come join us. It's a lot of fun. If you guys do want to check out my sponsors, go on over to lynda.com, lynda.com/weakertech. There you guys can find all sorts of tutorials on anything tech-related. Fantastic site, and that will give you a 7-day free trial. And also, my personal favorite is Audible, audibletrial.com/weakertech. Give them a shot. That gives you 30 days free and a free book. And so you could even cancel at the end of the 30 days, and you still get to keep your free book. So if you guys just want to try out an audiobook, I'll give you guys a free one, audibletrial.com/weakertech. So thank you to everyone in the chat room. Again, Roger, Brandon for calling in, Janda, all of you guys. Loved having you guys here, and the few random people who, I don't know who you are. You're anonymous. But thank you to you guys. Red Button Jam Fest, it has been a blast. I am for sure going to be having you guys on again sometime. Maybe in a few months, we can do kind of an update with you guys and see where you guys are at and what new things are going on or how it's evolved and changed or anything like that. Would you guys be down for that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that would be a lot of fun. Alrighty, so that is it for this week. Until I see you guys next time, tech on.
Take on.